Alright guys, Book of the Dead is right around the corner, and at the very center of it all is the necromancer, Geb. But who is he, and what is his story? Let's find out today on Golarion In Depth. It is difficult to tell the story of Geb without also telling of the century-long feud with the Archmage Nyx. These two great wizards of the Age of Destiny had no peer save one another, and their close proximity fostered a rivalry. This rivalry turned into obsession, and this obsession bloomed into a full-out war. They unleashed unfathomable calamities against each other's nations, and permanently devastated the surrounding landscape into what is now known as the Mana Waste. Eventually, Geb gained the upper hand by casting forth a great storm of poison on the capital of Nyx, killing thousands. In the aftermath, there was no sign of Nyx, who had escaped into a magical refuge only to vanish from Golarion entirely. While history claimed that this was Geb's victory, it rang hollow to the necromancer, who believed that Nyx had not only survived the final attack, but was merely biding his time until the chance to retaliate. Geb scoured the globe for any power that would let him discover Nyx's true fate, until he drove himself into despair with his own paranoia, and finally took his own life. Yet even death could not deny Geb's vendetta. Consumed by anguish and surrounded by necromantic power, his suicide trapped his spirit on the material plane as a ghost. With no purpose and no escape, Geb languished on the throne of a kingdom he felt no affection for. Many of his subjects chose to follow Geb into undeath, leaving him with the rotting corpse of a nation that he had founded. His only relief came in forms of tiny sparks of emotion across the ages when it seemed something might actually challenge him. In 3889 AR, the Knights of Ozum lost a poorly planned infiltration of the nation of Geb. Geb took the fallen heroes, raised them as grave knights, and sent them back to Laswell on a very special mission. These grave knights broke into the vault, holding the broken body of Arazni. They stole it and took it back to Geb. Geb then reanimated Arazni's corpse as a lich, naming her his harlot queen, an affront which the knights have never forgiven. Recently, great engines of war, the flesh forges, began to activate in Nyx. Mighty beasts and monsters more powerful than anything the Archlords had summoned in over 1,000 years marched south into the Mana Waste. They were the most wondrous sight Geb had ever seen. The day Geb yearned for countless lifetimes had finally come, and it was time to assemble his forces once again. Now, for the first time in 4,000 years, Geb faces a new challenge. During his long fits, the Ghost King had failed to even notice Arazni's steady growing independence and her sudden disappearance. Without the Lich Queen, Geb is forced to step forward and act like a true ruler once again. For a war council, he has only his scheming and psychopathic governors, the Bloodlords. Many of them have taken Arazni's defection as a clue to turn upon each other in efforts to gain Geb's favor. His greatest difficulty, however, comes from the very magic that reanimated him, as Geb's spirit is bound to the very soil of the capital city. Until he can deal with these obstacles, Geb won't truly be ready for Nex's return. While some scrambled to choose a side in the looming war, many more wish to stop it before it even begins. These include ambitious liches and vampires who have no desire to play pawns in a Ghost King's war games, or archlords who will lose all status and authority if Nex returns, and thousands upon thousands of innocent bystanders who will be caught in the crossfire. Only one question remains. What role will you play?